Well, good evening, and thank you for giving me the chance to join you tonight. I want to begin by thanking Ophelia and Rosa Maria for being here. Your husband, your father, was an incredible man. He fought, and he made the ultimate sacrifice for freedom. Oswaldo was a fierce believer who worked tirelessly to liberate the Cuban people from communist oppression. He had long been a thorn in the side of the Castros. As an aside, anytime you can annoy a communist, it is a good thing. He was the only person at school who refused to join the communist youth. He went on to found the Varela Project, which sought a referendum on Cuba's communist system. Their demands were simple: democratic government, religious liberty, freedom of expression, and the freedom to start a business. In retaliation, the regime harassed him. They arrested him repeatedly. And in 2012, they killed him. But in life and in death, they never succeeded in silencing his message. Growing up as a child, I heard stories from my father about life in Cuba that instilled in me from a very young age the desire to fight for change, to fight for truth, to fight for freedom. If you had asked me at 5, 6, 7 years old, what do you want to do in life? I would have told you, I want to defend freedom. That is a noble mission. And that was Oswaldo Payá's mission. The yearning for liberty, the courage to fight for it, is the Cuban way. I saw it in my family, in his family, and it's been passed down to the next generations. I've now served in the Senate for 13 years, starting in 2015. And every Congress since then, I've introduced legislation to rename the street outside the Cuban embassy Oswaldo Payá Way. Renaming the street in front of the Cuban embassy would send a powerful message to the communist regime. And I will confess, the book of Ecclesiastes tells us there's nothing new under the sun. I did not originate this strategy. Rather, during the Cold War, President Reagan renamed the street in front of the Soviet embassy Sakharov Plaza after the famed human rights dissident in the Soviet Union. It was part of a broader strategy to shed light on the evil empire. My strategy is the same here. Some people may think a street name is not that big a deal. But think about it. If you change a street name, it means anyone who wants to write to the Cuban embassy will have to write down Oswaldo Payá's name. Or if you need to go there and you pull out your phone to look at the address, they will see his name. The Cuban regime every day will have to see, or even perhaps write, his name. There is power in saying his name. Oswaldo's legacy matters deeply to Cuba and to the United States. In the last Congress, the Senate passed my legislation to rename the street in front of the Cuban embassy 100-0. Unanimous bipartisan support. The last Congress, unfortunately, the House did not take it up before we adjourned. But it is my intention and my hope again to take it up in the Senate again, to pass it unanimously again, and this time I have confidence that my friends in the House, both Democrat and Republican, will stand up and do the right thing. standing up to evil is always the right thing. And we will force the evil communist bastards who murdered Oswaldo Payá to say his name. Tonight we honor him, and we honor his legacy of freedom across the globe. Thank you.